So, how do people become more loving? Because if you live in a modern society now, we're being bombarded with negativity all the time. We've got crazy politicians, and we see on the news all the doom, gloom, and murderers and rapists. It's hard for people to think of being loving towards other people when they're just seeing bad examples of what people can get up to.
Well, the thing that has to happen is that they have to find their pathway. And I was just basically walking around and things were going in and out, in and out, in and out of me. And one of the things that came to light is the fact that when I first went to England, there were probably, I would say, no more than 1,000 Reiki healers. Now, when you look around in England, and how many Reiki healers do you have now?
I can't imagine tens of thousands, probably,
I'd
if
say
not more.
millions, where you can go and I don't like to criticize and everything, but I like to basically tell people the truth. And the truth is basically you had one person who was given a vision. And in that vision, they showed him how to utilize the energy and how to heal people. He ended up calling it Reiki. He was the one that had the gift. And he went out and he taught four other people who had visions of being attached to this type of energy. So he was allowed to help them understand by giving them tools so that they could understand their power, their gift. But unfortunately, everybody wanted to be a Reiki healer. Well, not everybody in the world is not a Reiki healer. It's just like they say there's only one Cleopatra, there's only one Caesar. But the information that they can give people are tools so that they can find their way on who they are. But how many people now are shamans in England? Every place you look around in Europe, they're shamans. They're being taught to be shamans. Well, what if that's not their gift? They're wasting their whole lifetime basically studying something that they're not attached to. So when they pass on, guess what? They got to be recycled and sent back in order for them to find their true gift. And I can always sit there in workshops. I don't tell people who they are. What I do is I give them tools so that they can find out how they're connected and how to understand how they get connected. And it's all once they have the tools to find out who they are, guess what? It's free. You don't have to pay for it. You know, it's just that they have to walk their own pathway. And that's why we were sitting there. It's like I said, if you're on a boat and you're on the ocean, and all of a sudden they say, all the shamans that are being taught to be shamans come to the front of the boat. So they all come running to the front of the boat, they sink. Doesn't do any good because they're not really shamans. So everybody wants to be a shaman and then they end up sinking the boat because they don't realize who they are. So one of the things I do when I try to do workshops is to teach people how to use tools. They're simple. It's the same way with myself. I didn't go and get training from anybody. I started off by an individual showing me a ceremony on how to basically connect to myself and to connect to who I really am. And from there, I started getting visions after visions until the knowledge of who I was and who I became was there. And then now I can go out and I can basically show people how to utilize certain tools so they can find themselves. And you have to have balance, just like what they call the yin and the yang. You have to have balance. And that's what people have forgotten. They want to interpret things the way they want to interpret it, not the way the energies interpret it. So therefore, we get on our false pathways, and we never find out who we are.